Have you ever felt trapped, like the walls are closing in and there's no way out? Bound by fear, doubt, or pain? These feelings can be overwhelming, making it hard to see any light at the end of the tunnel. Life can feel like a dark and lonely place. The shadows seem to stretch endlessly, and every step forward feels like a struggle. In the Bible, we find a story about a man consumed by darkness. His life was a constant battle, a relentless torment that seemed to have no end. He lived among the tombs, tormented day and night. Demons controlled him, and he was isolated from the world, lost in his suffering. This man's story reminds us that even in the darkest times, hope remains. Just as the dawn breaks, after the longest night, there is always a glimmer of light waiting to pierce through the darkness. Even when we feel alone, Jesus is there. He reaches out to us, offering comfort and guidance, reminding us that we are never truly alone in our struggles. Jesus traveled to the Man's region, a place known for its desolation and spiritual darkness. His journey was long and arduous, but he was driven by a purpose greater than himself. The disciples followed closely, sensing the gravity of the mission ahead. When the man saw Jesus, he ran to him with a desperation that could not be contained. His heart pounded, and his legs moved as if driven by an unseen force. The urgency in his steps spoke volumes about the torment he had endured. He fell at Jesus' feet, his body collapsing under the weight of his suffering. In that moment, he found himself in the presence of a power he could not fully comprehend, yet he knew it was his only hope. "What do you want with me, Jesus?" the man cried out, his voice trembling with fear and desperation. His eyes were wide with terror, and his soul seemed to be on the brink of breaking. The demons inside him recognized Jesus as the Son of God. They knew his authority and power, and they trembled at his presence. The man's face contorted with the inner struggle, a battle between light and darkness. Jesus saw the man's pain, a deep, soul-wrenching agony that had held him captive for so long. His eyes softened with compassion, and his heart ached for the suffering before him. He saw the torment that held him captive, the invisible chains that bound his spirit. The man's struggle was not just physical but deeply spiritual, a battle that had left him broken and weary. With compassion in his heart, Jesus reached out. His hand extended not just to touch but to heal, to restore, and to bring light into the darkest corners of the man's soul. In that simple gesture, there was a promise of hope and redemption. "Come out of him," Jesus commanded the demons. With a single word, Jesus shattered the chains that bound the man. The demons left the man. They rushed into a herd of pigs nearby. The pigs ran off a cliff and into the sea. The people who saw this were amazed and afraid. They begged Jesus to leave their region. Jesus stayed with the man for a while, offering him comfort and guidance. They walked together through the countryside, sharing moments of deep conversation and reflection. The man felt a sense of peace he had never known before. He saw the change in him. The man's eyes, once filled with sorrow and pain, now sparkled with hope and joy. His heart, once heavy with burdens, felt light and free. The man was no longer tormented. He was free. Free from the chains of his past, free from the darkness that once consumed him. He walked with a newfound purpose and a serene smile on his face. Jesus gave the man a new purpose. He spoke to him about love, compassion, and the importance of sharing his story with others. The man listened intently, feeling inspired and determined to make a difference. "Go home to your own people," Jesus said. The man returned to his village, where he was welcomed with open arms. His family embraced him, overjoyed to see the transformation in him. "Tell them how much the Lord has done for you," Jesus instructed. The man began to share his story with everyone he met, speaking with passion and conviction. He told them about the miracles he had witnessed and the mercy he had received, and how he has had mercy on you. The man expressed his gratitude through prayer and reflection, often looking up to the sky with a heart full of thanks. The man, filled with joy and gratitude, went out and proclaimed the good news of Jesus' love and power. He spoke to crowds, small groups, and individuals, spreading a message of hope and redemption. He shared his story, inspiring hope in others. His words touched many hearts, and his testimony became a beacon of light for those still in darkness. The man's life had been transformed, and through his story, he helped transform the lives of others.